welcome to the 102nd episode of Recluse Horror. This is a bi-weekly horror movie review podcast. With me again today is Sam.
Hey.
So, you weren't here for the last episode, so I had Kira fill in. And, Sam, you know Kira.
Yeah.
She likes horror movies. She did not watch the horror movie.
Sure.
That I watched. Sam, however, today was insistent for probably the entire time since I recorded the last episode that we watch what, Samuel?
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, we're blaming me.
we're
blaming me.
We're gonna blame you.
We're blaming me.
You know I don't watch stuff in the middle of series without rewatching.
You're blaming
the series.
me for this.
This is just a classic rookie mistake.
All right.
Samuel,
well,
what's the movie that you
fuck
chose?
Fuck you. First of all, I haven't seen the movie.
I could have told you.
Whoa, because you saw it?
No. By the title.
I thought the whole reason you even do this is so you try new movies that you wouldn't watch otherwise.
It's true.
Oh, fuck you. Podcast over.
Okay.
Watch Tremors.
No, I wish we watched Tremors. We didn't watch Tremors.
We watched Tremors.
No, we didn't. So the name of the film that we watched was Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell. This came out a month ago, so 2018. Sam, how did you like Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell?
It was terrible.
It was. It was really bad. I think the funniest thing about this movie, at least on like just the level, the thing that really tipped me off, it was not going to be good, was that this is the first movie in the series that they haven't called Tremors 6. It's the sixth Tremors movie, if you guys are familiar with those. And it's just Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell. There is alternate titles where they use the 6, but the finalized title does not use the 6. Did you notice that change, or did that give you any indication about what this was going to be?
I did not think it was going to be terrible because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could have easily just been terrible.
Uh-huh.
But I thought that would indicate that they wouldn't, like, it would be a point where they wouldn't focus so much on past movies.
Right.
And I was more fine with that if it was terrible and it didn't focus so much on the past movies. Like, I've seen 3 of them, the first 3.
Mm-hmm. And
then the third one's pretty terrible. So I didn't watch the other ones. And then, so I have no idea what would be happening in the movie.
So you were thinking it was more of like a Blade Runner 2049 situation, where it's just like, I mean, it's related to it, but we're not trying to directly compare the two movies so much, and that
maybe
was amazing.
more of a New Nightmare situation.
Okay, yeah, like a Freddy.
Except that's like an okay movie. It's not great, but
yeah, I liked New Nightmare.
It's not on the same level of terrible, isn't it? As
right.
This, but
just
this
more
is
like a
super
rebooty.
Seeped in lore, the Tremors lore.
Yeah.
Which is stupid past the first the first
two.
one and second one, kind of.
Yeah. So I also I've seen at least the first 2 Tremors movies. I may have seen the third one. I really don't have any recollection. Any clear recollection. For those of you who are not familiar with those, this is a series that, at least when it started, starred Kevin Bacon and Michael Gross. And it's about giant worms? Like giant worm things? Is there really anything else that you would say about it?
I wouldn't characterize them any other way.
Yeah.
It's these underground giant worms.
Yeah. And they're pretty highly regarded as far as like, I don't know, would you call them horror comedies? They're definitely very lighthearted. I don't think they're horror comedy though, necessarily. My recollection is pretty dim though.
It's probably on the fence. It's not a horror comedy like Tucker and
Like
Dale.
Burying the Ex, or
Yeah, it's probably closer to like Cabin in the Woods.
okay,
Maybe a little
without
bit
the meta.
more serious in tone.
Yeah. So they're pretty well thought of. My memory of them is very, very dim, as I had mentioned, but I definitely liked the ones that I saw. I remember being really into them when I saw them, but I was pretty young at the time. It was definitely one of those sci-fi where they played them back to back. Do you remember when sci-fi used to do that?
Yeah, that's how I had seen them.
Yeah, I figured. I think that's how a lot of people saw them. They were able to probably pick up the rights pretty cheaply, which you wouldn't necessarily think. It was probably in that period when Kevin Bacon kind of stopped doing stuff, so the rights probably got cheaper. And they snatched it up and then played them in those back-to-back double features.
Yeah, I have no idea about that. Sci-Fi had a decent amount of movies.
Yeah.
At the time, here and there. They would get a lot of stuff that was like sequential.
Yeah.
And that's probably how they picked that up. They probably sold them all the movies for something.
All the movies at the time.
Yeah, because I know they would if they at least had 1, 2, and 3 at the time, and they probably just bought it that way, or had a deal to like buy all these movies, since like the second one and the third one, like the second one being much better than the third one, but the third one being pretty bad too. So
they were able to maybe pick up the 3 of them as a package deal and probably get kind of a better deal out of it, since the third one sucks.
It's like 6 to 7 hours of programming.
Of material, yeah.
Including commercials.
Right.
So.
Was Kevin Bacon also in the third one?
No.
Is he in the second one? He is in the second one, right? Yeah. Okay. I think that I may have only seen the first 2 then. But Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell, the one that we watched today, all of the previous movies that I am aware of, took place in the desert. They took place in, what was the name of that town?
Perfection,
that's right. Perfection, Nevada. And this one, the thing that kind of seemed like it might make it interesting on some level, as you might be able to tell from the title, A Cold Day in Hell, it's supposed to take place in the Arctic. Sam, how does that pan out in the movie?
They don't. There's like no snow.
There's no snow. They show one entire scene, like, where it takes place, like, in a place with snow, and then the rest of it looks exactly like the desert.
And everything else. A more annoying thing too is that, like, I like, that's a premise that gives some variety to the series, but there's also a line where they're like, "Oh, where's that? That's in the Canadian Arctic."
Yeah,
and then they go there, and it just looks like the desert.
Yeah.
And that's, like, I probably wouldn't have added that line if everything was just going to be rocks and dirt.
Yeah.
If I was like, oh, that's in the Canadian Arctic, which is just rocks and dirt and sand.
I think they're legitimately trying to remind you, like, I know that the whole rest of this movie is not going to take place in the Arctic. Like, in any kind of Arctic scenery, it's not going to be cold. But that's...
I probably would have not done it.
I would have... I don't know.
Because that also plays up that it's not that at all.
And I it's kind of a weird place in the middle. I understand, like, this is the first time that one of these movies has not taken place in a hot place. It's not taken place in the desert. So you might think that nothing but boundless white fields of, like, you know, snow with nothing else and permafrost and whatever.
Ice and...
Yeah, all of that would get dull visually. But so does the desert. And it literally looks like any desert I've ever seen. I have no idea whether this was actually filmed in Canada. I don't care enough to look. Or if it was filmed in the Arctic areas of, you know, of Canada. But it definitely loses that feel right after that very first scene, and it really felt disappointing. They didn't necessarily have to take the whole thing in the middle of nowhere with no buildings or anything like that. Breaks up the snow. And can you imagine what like the blood and guts and special effects of a Tremors movie would look like against a backdrop of snow? It would be chaos. You know what I mean? You could not look away from it. Maybe they thought that was too far for the light tone of, the Tremors series, to just see like a bunch of blood and guts lying around, but I don't know. They're pretty bloody and gutsy, like, anyway. So this movie, it still has Michael Gross, which kind of makes me sad. Michael Gross is a very well-known I think he's very well-known. He's a pretty good actor. I've seen him in a number of things. He plays different types of roles, and it makes me feel bad that he has to be in this movie.
He was the dad from Family Ties.
The dad from Family Ties. And his sort of sidekick character, because he can't not have a sidekick, is Jamie Kennedy, which apparently he was in the fifth one. I did not see the fifth one, where they establish who his character is. They give you enough pretty quickly to figure that out without, much discomfort. I don't care. But Sam, what did you think about Jamie Kennedy in this movie?
He looks like an old hobo or something.
He has very leathery looking skin. It also looks like he Mystic tanned it. And like there's no red left in his hair, and he just really doesn't look like himself. Sam didn't realize it until he was looking up something about the movie in the middle of watching it, that it was Jamie Kennedy. It took me a little while too, but
I'm still not sure it was Jamie Kennedy. Maybe that says what.
Some weird leathery like doppelganger.
At one point, he's wearing somebody's hat and glasses. In the movie. That's right. And when he did that, I was like, oh, he finally looks human. Nice.
Just cool.
Up. He's finally looking human, huh?
Yeah. Oh, man. I think the Tremors team is sending in some kind of a fighter pilot to bomb our house because we don't like it.
Circling our position.
They're circling our position. I was going to cut it out and then it never ended, so. He is not, like, I never liked Jamie Kennedy, but I used to think, okay, he's not too bad looking. This is not his movie.
I always gave him I always gave him a little too much credit. Mm-hmm. Is that he was kind of in on that he's supposed to be funny and what jokes are.
Yeah, what jokes are.
He seemed to have forgotten anything about what jokes are.
Yeah.
And be like, no, I'm not saying that. Do you know why? It's not funny.
Because it's not funny.
There's not a single funny thing in this movie.
The number of times where I literally like had to, I just sighed. There were so many, and it's not just Jamie Kennedy. Nobody in this movie. Michael Gross, as I've said, I like him as an actor. I've seen him in many things that I really enjoyed. Jamie Kennedy, not necessarily my favorite comedian at all, but for his era, I honestly think he's one of the funnier ones, and his comedy was a little bit less lowbrow than a lot of his, contemporaries. And Jamie Kennedy can be legitimately funny. I have seen him do stuff that made me laugh out loud. That person is nowhere to be found in this movie. I don't know if it was just completely joyless, if the filming was terrible, or if everybody was at this point, everybody in this movie, not just the two of them, but everybody was at that point where like, I'm seriously in fake, can't even be called Tremors 6. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah, and they're just going through the motions to get paid.
And it kind of felt like that because nobody has any facial expressions for the most part. Like, none of the jokes land. I mean, there's plenty of room for acting in this movie, and nobody does any of it. Michael Gross doesn't do it. Jamie Kennedy doesn't do it. None of the side characters do it. So it's really, I don't know. I honestly felt a little bit concerned for the actors in this movie. Like, it must have been just hell. Whether it was an emotional hell or a physical, actual, like, set hell.
To me it seemed like they had, like, afternoon to film the whole movie.
Yeah.
So they just ran through all the lines, whether they worked or didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it made any fucking sense at all, what they were saying. They use all these, like, similes and metaphors and colloquialisms and sayings and phrases that don't make any fucking sense and I've never heard anybody else say. And they just, like, make them up or I don't understand why they're doing it the whole time. And it's not just one character, it's every character. So every character, like, I would get if it's one person's thing.
Yeah, that they just
they
say
do
a bunch
that
of
all
stuff.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
And even that maybe if it started rubbing off on everybody.
No.
In the cast. Within the story.
Over the course of the movie, as they get to know each other.
But the movie is like an afternoon too.
Yeah.
Like, it takes place in the afternoon.
Yeah.
They know each other for no time.
Yeah, there's not enough time for anybody to rub off on anybody. Like,
speaking of, the love story in this fucking movie.
Segue. That's perfect. That's why
there's
I pay you.
There's like two set. I don't like. I don't know how to explain it. Like, okay, so Jamie Kennedy meets this girl. She doesn't want to take off her pants to get safe from a tremor. She tells Jamie Kennedy the reason why she's not wearing any underwear. He says that he loves her. They kiss at that point? Almost kiss? Like, weird, awkward, high school rubbing up on each other? Something like that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like an item.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think your version of it actually felt more realistic than what actually was portrayed on screen.
Oh, because it's so cheesy and gross.
It's so cheesy and gross. So the part I think you probably revealed more than I usually would, but this movie is terrible.
Don't watch it. This is not like this is an unrecommend.
This is definitely an unrecommend. This is not good. It is not worth your time to actually sit through this. And honestly, I feel concerned for the actors. But no, so that scene with the pants thing, that was actually like one of the funnier moments in the movie. And you can totally see why he would be gaga over her at that point. But like, there is no reason for her to reciprocate anything, and they never build it in. It's like she's a lamp. You know, I know we've talked about lamps.
Yeah, and like, Jamie Kennedy is like a leathery, like, tremor-looking character himself.
Yeah.
Which, you know, like, some people are ugly. I am. But they don't give him give her any reason to like him. She doesn't love leathery, tremor-looking men. They didn't.
Right.
Like,
they didn't establish
anything about it. There's like an attraction that they just added into the movie.
Right.
Without any reason. Like, yeah, she could be into that type of guy. Like, plenty of people are and whatever.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there's no
even
reason.
Pretty girls.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird.
It is. And it's funny, too, because they're clearly trying to build in with him.
Is he supposed to be playing Jamie Kennedy? I would get that.
Yeah.
Maybe like, oh, a celebrity. Yeah, I'll just be into him because he's a celebrity.
Even if he's leathery and old now.
Yeah, like, exactly. Steven Seagal probably gets laid all the time.
He's do not make
Buddhist
me think of
master or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, he is a, 7th level something Buddhist. I don't know what the actual term is, forgive me. But according to the internet rumors anyway, he is a level of Buddhist where he can reincarnate at will. That's not Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
But Steven Seagal. Yeah, which is funny considering some other stuff that's come out of it about his personal life. But anyway, yeah, they, at least in the capacity, like, this character actually does do some things in there that make her not a total only lamp, but as far as the love story is concerned, she is a prop.
He's a prop.
No, he's a one-liner dispenser.
Oh,
like,
well, who isn't in this?
Fuck, right? But no, the thing that was really more weird is it's clear from pretty early that they're trying to set him up with as a love interest. He keeps asking people like, oh, they'll be talking. Him and Michael Gross are talking to the people, the girls on the phone, the two of the female characters on the phone, and he's over Michael Gross's shoulder saying like, oh, ask her if she's hot. And it's clearly gonna go that way. But it's funny because, like, for the until that scene with the pants thing, it's not clear whether he's gonna go after one character or the other, of the two female possible love interests. And they don't ever build anything in there, like he's looking at one of them or the other one of them, or like, there's just no nuance to it at all. It's literally like cut and paste, like, we need a romance in this story because, I don't know. And
it's not even cut and paste because that implies that you paste things in the place where they need to be. This is cut and jammed in somewhere that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's literally the bare minimum amount of screen time, effort, and dialogue writing that you could possibly call a love story.
And that's like
a romantic subplot,
and that's everything in the movie too.
It is, yes.
There's so many characters in this movie that are just in the movie, and you just like have no idea who they are, why they're there,
right?
What their deal is. Maybe Michael Gross, and that's probably only if you watch the other Tremor movies,
right? Yeah. I don't even think we have, like, I don't want to say that we don't have time, because we have as much damn time as we want. But, like, I
don't have the time.
The science of this movie also is, like, it's tenuous even on a level that Tremors is, like, the previous Tremors movies, like, have some excuses for why they're silly and, you know, don't make any sense. This one tries to establish, like, some basic form of science in it, and it's nonsense. It's 1960s level nonsense of, like,
spouting
50s,
out
60s, yeah,
like big words,
things that don't make any sense, and things that don't behave as they would in nature.
Jumping to conclusions.
Yes,
that just happen to be right.
Jumping to conclusions, things that, yeah, it would take years of research to learn the things that they're just saying they discovered all at once. There are a number of subplots within the movie, which I think actually at least made the pacing feel okay for the most part. How did you feel about the pacing of the movie?
It was terrible.
Really? You thought it was paced terrible?
Uh-huh.
Oh, the ending, oh god. The pace in the end was really bad. It did feel like the movie was just dragging and dragging on. I felt like the first hour of it, at least, though, like, I mean, it should have ended after the first hour.
Well, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
/ bad. If you could sit through it without, like, cringing the whole time.
Oh, God.
Through the bad dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, okay, so the first Tremors is about, the Tremors, like, what are they, graboids?
Graboids, yeah. Sorry, we've been calling them, like, worms
I
or
always
Tremors.
call them Tremors.
They're graboids, yeah.
Going to this town and... Perfection and blah, blah, they kind of attack these people in this town. That's
pretty much
very
the movie.
Short. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I'm a big fan of that one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is about two of the characters.
Kevin Bacon and Michael Gross.
No, the other main character in Tremors 1. I don't remember his name. Go to Mexico to hunt Tremors.
Right.
They're hunting Tremors for the Mexican government in the desert. And Michael Gross does show up in that one. That one's pretty decent. Mm-hmm. Even though a little rehashy of the first one.
Right.
The third one, I don't remember anything other than Michael Gross is in it. He's hunting Tremors. They find those walking ones.
The walking ones.
I think the flying ones might be the fourth one. I might have watched like the first hour of that and gave up on it.
Right.
And they're hunting Tremors somewhere. With the little walking raptor looking ones.
Uh-huh.
And this is a movie about them supposedly being in the Arctic, the Canadian Arctic.
Yeah.
Hunting Tremors and blah, the same thing.
Right.
So my point being, like, really after the first one, they just been redoing the same idea.
over and over
and over. Or
yeah.
Or 5 times now.
5. Yeah.
I haven't seen the fourth.
Times.
I haven't seen the fourth or fifth one. I don't
Yeah.
have any idea what that's about.
Yeah, the fifth one, the fifth one is directly related to this one. It appears from what I just briefly looked at. Jamie Kennedy is in that one, so I think they establish his character in that one. I guess I won't give away like any of the details that I don't know about that movie because I don't know about them anyway. But I suppose if you're really into Tremors, I still think you would be disappointed in this one, honestly. I think it might make you more disappointed.
It wouldn't... I would be like, yeah, you should check it out. If it wasn't for all the, like, corny dialogue and shit like that.
And that's not to say that wasn't in the previous ones, but this...
It's just to the next level and makes it unenjoyable.
It's nonsensical.
In any level.
Yeah. It's nonsensical. Sam spent the whole rest of the night, and this was funny at least, just making up fake similes and metaphors that don't make any sense, or like cheesy one-liners, and just kept saying them. And like the worse they were, the more they sounded like what was in the movie. It is like it is really bad. They use phrases in a way that oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes it seems like it's supposed to be a real thing that, like, people say. And they just are not. And sometimes you don't even know exactly what they were trying to say. They're so bad.
Yeah, like what they were
getting at. Yeah. Yeah. What the phrase was even meaning. And you're just like, okay. And a lot of times the actors themselves too, you can see them trying to remember the words as they're saying it, like trying to remember the script, because what they're saying is basically nonsense. It's like trying to memorize the Jabberwocky. It's literally nonsense, but even that had like rhyming.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, it's really bad. What did you think about, like, was there any part of the acting that you enjoyed? Was there?
I like Michael Gross. He's terrible in this.
He is.
But you can tell that he is or was a good actor at one point. Just like being in a scene and him doing stuff and committing to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no. That's a long way to say no.
I almost felt like he and Jamie Kennedy both kind of committed to it's hard to say for sure because of course we can't know what's going on in their head, but like you said, it could be a really truncated like filming schedule, who knows.
They're like, hey, we're going up to some place to film something.
We've got 2 days.
Here's a bag of Coke. Let's do it. They're like, yeah, jingle bells on the back of your radar. Let's go. And then they just went and made up more shit like that, I guess. I don't know.
It kind of reminds me of like, and this is just a nonsense scenario that I'm making up. But like, okay, you have this film team together. You have the script. You're working through stuff and maybe consulting on it to try to get it so that, with those kind of one-liners and stuff, a lot of times in action movies and stuff like that, from what I understand, oftentimes, the lines will be slightly adapted for the characters, because if they can't sell it, there's no point in saying it. So they have all these cheesy action one-liners, they're working through it, they're starting to hammer down the script, and then they get a call and say, hey, we're actually going to shoot this 2 weeks earlier than we were going to, and we've changed directors. And also, we no longer have access to the new script you guys have been working on. And so then they're just running around with their heads cut off in the middle of what's supposed to be the tundra and looks like the desert. And like trying to film this whole movie in 2 days, and they don't even know what's going on. They're trying to figure out, like, I don't know what scenes we're filming in what order. The entire thing was all planned out, and now it's gone, and we're on an old script that I don't remember. Like, I have not experienced this exact phenomena in my life, but I've heard of things like this kind of happening, and that's what the look on everybody's face says to me.
Or
is just
none
completely
of that
disorganized.
happened. Everybody's just a terrible actor.
Just a terrible actor and just there to pick up a check.
And there's don't give a shit, and
yeah,
it's just a garbage piece of movie. It fucking sucks.
It is really disappointing. There are characters in here that are supposed to be scientists, like literal scientists, doing the only thing that you know about the Tremors, like about the graboids, which is you don't make noise or sound or vibrations, and they are doing the only thing that you're not supposed to, which is like running around and jumping off of stuff and blah blah blah. And it's like, I don't care how scared you are. If you're a scientist, some level of you has got to have like the slightest bit of like intelligence left to just not do what you're doing right now. And it happens over and over again. Like one time I could see it, like panic is real. Panic makes you do crazy stuff, but panic does not make you do crazy stuff like 7 times after you've already been told, like, just chillax.
Well, let's think about it this way too. Also, they're scientists, right?
Yeah. And, like everybody in this movie.
And the like, I don't understand, and maybe I've missed this in a previous Tremors, but how does not everybody know of Tremors?
Graboids and stuff.
Yeah, it was 28 years ago that the first movie came out. In theory, that's the year that Tremor attack happened.
Right.
How does not everybody in the world know of Tremors and know, like, hey, stop fucking running?
Right.
You know, how is this not a publicized thing? How is this
like, hey,
not like an internet thing? You know, how is this not? Yeah,
like for tornadoes, you do whatever you do. I don't live in a place where there's tornadoes.
There's not even like a fake one where people are getting it wrong. We're like, no, graboids can't go fast. Let's run and make as much noise as possible. They'll run away.
Yeah, and right. They're scared of noise.
Yeah, they're scared of noise.
Yeah,
like there's nothing even like that. People are like Tremors? I've never heard of them.
It's like they're allergic to sulfur. Let's try to light them on fire. So yeah, there isn't. It's people in the movie some of them seem to know about it, but like
yeah. So there can't be like a conspiracy government cover up.
Yeah. You know, for earthquakes, you're supposed to go indoor frames, which actually they say you're not supposed to do now. But like a procedure, it is literally something that is maybe not in the tundra, but like even in the desert, it seems like.
Well, these are people from other places going up to the Canadian.
Yeah, wilds. Exactly.
So they would have information from the 28 years that people have known Tremors have been around.
Right.
So why is there no knowledge of it? Why is it always like?
And it's not like, it doesn't seem like the government has tried to cover up any of this, like, or any government has tried to cover up any of this. Like, normal people with no reason to have knowledge of it seem to have, like, oh yeah, those things, right, the things that they found. And why are they not more weird? Like, if science discovered something like that, like a big giant, like, what do they call it? Precambrian is supposed to be what it is?
Yeah.
Like, creature that can come up and like eat you and destroy your village, like that's gonna be a huge deal. And there is gonna be like, they are gonna call in Kevin Bacon and whoever to like try to hunt them and like get rid of them and whatever.
And that's kind of what the second one happened. Right. The Mexican government heard about what happened.
Right.
In Paradise, Nevada. Perfection, Nevada.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they called them specifically because they had experience with it.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you saved, yourselves before, like, go kill these things.
And I wouldn't even care that much if they weren't so continuous on continuity with Michael Gross being in all of them.
Yeah.
And him playing the same character, Bert whatever.
Right.
From the very first one.
Yeah. Bert Gummer? Is it Gummer?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they've carried his character all the way through this one way or another, and I don't know. I there's just so many parts about it that are bad. Another thing about like, just on a very technical, like, and this maybe is on an acting level, but do you remember in the very beginning of the movie, like when they're setting up the whole like Bert character, and there's that guy, the government tax man or whatever, who's coming through. For like 5 minutes of that scene, of that opening scene where that taxman comes in, I actually thought they were friends.
Yeah.
The acting in that scene was so poor. Both the taxman and possibly also on him, Michael Gross. it wasn't clear that they're supposed to hate the crap out of each other. Like, the taxman is trying to destroy him, and
I think it's like a hate effing situation.
Yeah, like a hate relationship. And it was not clear for like 5 minutes to me that that's what it was. I thought it was just some, crotchety old man who was being crotchety. And then I'm like, no, he's supposed to hate him. And understandably so in the circumstances. But both the way the lines are crafted and delivered makes that really unclear until you get a certain point into the movie and it becomes obvious. But it's really weird. Like, I think there's definitely some poor editing. There's a ton of poor dialogue writing. It's mostly poor dialogue writing. But I mean, there's so many structural problems in this movie. The ending. Do you want to talk about the ending?
It went on forever.
There were like 6 natural endings to this movie, and all of them sucked.
Can we give away the end, like the end solution? Is that too spoilery?
I think there's got to be somebody somebody in the world who would ever listen to this who actually may want to watch this movie.
I don't think there's anybody in the world. And if it's so, they shouldn't. But I'm fine with not. I don't want to talk about this movie any longer. I have to.
I bet you Pumpkin will still watch it.
I don't want to talk about it any longer than I have to.
It's just not good. But the ending, it has a bunch of different natural endings. And literally like 3 in a row within 3 minutes.
And you're just dying for it to end.
Yeah, and we were like literally like moaning and groaning over it by that point. Man, they're really trying to destroy us tonight.
Yeah.
They're dedicated.
I think we're getting swatted.
I think we're getting swatted because we don't like Tremors 6. Yeah. No, not Tremors 6.
Not Tremors 6.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm pretty much done talking about this, so let's talk about the director real fast.
Sure.
The Mr. Don Michael Paul.
None of those are last names.
3 directors.
3 directors.
Alright, so I'm gonna name a few things that probably no one's ever heard of but me. They were on USA in the 90s.
Oh, God.
Renegade.
I've heard of Renegade.
Oh.
I don't know if I saw that one.
It's about a guy who kicks, basically.
Kick puncher.
Ride a motorcycle and kicks.
Kick puncher.
Pacific Blue. It's about bicycle cops.
I've heard of Pacific Blue, too, but I haven't seen that one.
It was on USA, I'm pretty positive. Silk Stockings, which I also believe was on USA.
That looks terrible.
I don't remember
That's a TV
what it was
series,
about.
Huh? Oh, so it was Pacific Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they had a whole series about bicycle cops?
They sure did.
Oh, God, the 90s. What was wrong with the 90s, man?
It was extreme. Who's Your Caddy, which I've never seen, but I thought that was
the title.
Pretty funny. Lake Placid, the final chapter.
Oh, man.
So,
So that's got to be gold.
Tremors 5.
Okay.
So I'm not watching that one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Kindergarten Cop 2?
Kindergarten Cop 2.
Yeah.
Huh. They made a second one.
And Death Race 4. Beyond Anarchy. So, I've probably seen like almost none of this stuff. But I'm sure it's terrible.
Yeah.
So, I have a like better outlook on life. If this guy can make terrible, terrible movies for like a long time, I feel like I should be able to accomplish something.
Yeah.
I can't, but
right.
This guy did it. I don't know.
Yeah, failing upwards.
Yeah.
Failing upwards. He went from directing videos where it says video 2016, video 2018, to directing something that doesn't actually say video. By the way, on IMDb, if you've ever noticed something says video, that means it was direct to like a streaming service or direct to DVD or VHS, depending on what year you're talking about. The distinction is made that it's not like a theatrical released movie. Generally, that's what that video tag means. So he's directing movies now. He went from videos to movies, so that's something, right?
Maybe those aren't out yet.
Maybe they're not. Yeah,
I would imagine Death Race didn't get a Death Race 4.
Yeah,
didn't get a
theatrical release. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about what you've what you've been doing or whatever since the last podcast? It's been a month and a half since you've been on the podcast?
I've just been chained up waiting for the next podcast.
Yeah, I chain him in my basement. He's got a lot of friends that I like, so I have to keep him alive.
That's what I do. I don't have any friends.
He has
but yeah, you like them. At least one of us likes them.
Oh, shut up. He's lying. Sam likes to say that he has no friends, but then every weekend
I
he
love
gets
to
hit
say
up.
that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love to say I have no friends. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I'm pretty sure that I have.
Prove me wrong.
Every weekend he's getting hit up by our cute friends, and then I just like tag along.
Prove me wrong.
I just tag along because
you're a tag along.
Because I'm a tag along.
Anybody who's listened to the podcast knows
that I'm a tag along. I keep him alive so that I can hang out with his friends.
Tag along.
Because I have too much social anxiety to like be like, hey, here's my number. You should hit me up if you're doing cool stuff. Instead, I just steal Sam's invites. Luckily, they usually invite me with that instead of just like, hey, what are you and the Recluse doing? Which clearly is not actually how they phrase that, but like, what are you guys up to? And then I get to hang out with cute people.
Okay, crawl back in my hole now and not have to talk about terrible movies.
Since we had such a terribly, like, unequivocally negative review, is there anything that you've watched recently that you have enjoyed that we can talk about, even if it's not horror related?
No, I can't talk about anything. Too many spoilers.
Too many spoilers?
Too many spoilers out there.
Sam's...
Too many spoilers out there. I don't have anything to say.
So, yeah, Sam's been watching I've seen some of them too, the comic book movies that have all been coming out back to back to back. Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars is also low.
Oh, Star Wars. Yeah, Sam saw a Star Wars too.
I can't really talk about it.
Yeah. That's
spoilers.
Yeah. But you liked it, right? I guess people say they don't like the new Star Wars.
It was fine.
Yeah. I have not yet seen Solo because I hate Han Solo. Fight me. I probably
Everybody, don't worry. Everybody hates Han Solo too now after that movie.
After that movie? Oh, I didn't even have to watch the movie. I think the movie will make me like him more, and the thought of that makes me angry, so I'm hesitant to watch it. Also, no Adam Driver, so...
Recently, I saw Infinity War, Deadpool, and Solo. Mm-hmm. I thought Infinity War, for what it was really good.
I thought it was good.
I'm putting that like an asterisk on that for what it was because it's like weird, and I guess that's why I liked it. Deadpool was pretty good. Like,
I really liked Deadpool.
I didn't really like it. I thought it was okay. I saw some problems with the structure of the Deadpool movies, even the first one, and Solo was less good. Oh, that's right. I was gonna do I wanted to start doing an ABC rating. So Infinity War, I'd probably give an A-, B+. Deadpool, I'd probably give a B-, C+, B-.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And Solo, I'd probably give a C+, yeah. B-, something like that.
I did not see Solo, and I don't do like actual quantifiable ratings, so I won't be doing that. But I did like Infinity War. I think a lot of people liked it a lot more than me. I think at a certain point,
don't go into this.
Okay, I won't.
If you start talking about it, I'm going to talk about it, and you're not going to be able to put it on the podcast.
And we're going to have another argument.
Yeah, and then we're going to fight about it. Yes, physically fight about it.
Because Sam likes this a lot better than I do.
I don't want to talk about it. What part of that don't you get? It's not that I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it. You don't want me to talk about it on your stupid podcast that doesn't have spoilers.
True.
So do you want to get into it?
Oh, I don't. Okay. And then Deadpool, I actually really, really enjoyed. I felt like Deadpool 2 had a lot that I had been wanting out of the first Deadpool movie. and didn't get. And I felt like this one really, really stepped up on that level. A lot of it's just another, they had to do an origin story and blah, blah, blah. But, okay.
I could get into this one. This one won't spoil it.
Okay, go ahead.
The pacing's bad.
I don't know.
The first half and second half feel like two different movies.
But they're kind of supposed to.
The first, say, 20 minutes and 15... the first 15 minutes or so, and the last 15 minutes or so, feel like two different movies, and there's a whole nother movie in the middle, and it just kills any sort of pacing. By the time the movie starts, and you get past those first 15, or whatever, it feels like an hour. And then it starts, and you're like, oh, is this thing almost fucking over? And then you got a whole rest of the movie, and then it gets to the end, and then there's this long goddamn epilogue at the end, and it's like, just fucking end. The monster's dead. The movie's over.
Yeah. Sam's big on that. Sam has talked about that before on the podcast. Yeah, I mean, parts of the pacing are funny, but I did actually feel like it was kind of intended to feel like two movies a little bit.
Yeah, it was intended to feel long. Nice work.
Not long, just like
boring. Sorry, it's meant to be boring. Nice.
I'd have to think about it. I'd have to really think about it because I've forgotten a lot of stuff that isn't the actual funny parts of the movie, of which there are really numerous amounts, copious amounts of funny parts. But I kind of feel like it might be possibly a 4-act structure movie. And maybe that's why it feels funny. Those kind of always feel funny.
I'm only there for the monster.
I know you are.
If it's dead, I'm going home. I'm just going to start leaving movies after that. Just like, okay, the movie's fucking over. Shit's done. I don't need to hear about all this fucking...
Whatever.
Will they, won't they?
Right.
Fucking Pam and Jim bullshit. I don't care, Deadpool. I don't care about your dumb bullshit. In the comics, you're too ugly for anybody to love you.
Yeah, it's true.
Just like real life.
That's why I liked Deadpool back before he started becoming a thing and they started changing his character so much so that he's not like psychotic and flawed and sad. He's now like cheesy and funny and kind of crazy, but like in a fun way.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, good. We're on the same page.
Deadpool was terrible.
Shut up. And Solo, I don't know. So we can just end on the note that Sam and I agreed on one thing one time: that older comics are better because we're both old farts and read comic books.
People don't know this. I'm actually 59 years old.
Oh, is that right?
Me and Michael Gross are the same age.
Is he 59?
I don't know. He's fucking.
I was gonna say he's
a million. Though.
I know.
He was already old in Tremors 1.
I know.
That was 28 years ago.
He had to have been in his 40s then, so he's got to be in his like 60s to 70s now. Anyway, so that's...
In Family Ties, he already looked a million.
Did he? I didn't see Family Ties, so I'll have to take your word on that one.
Probably like 20. I mean, look goddamn fucking...
Back in your TV Land days? Oh, I guess that's right. You're 59 or whatever.
Yeah, so, I saw it.
So
I was there watching it live.
Yeah, you were providing for your family and coming home and watching Family Ties.
Watching it
your
live.
Family that
doing
you
it live.
Had, doing it live. Yeah. I kind of wish. Is this weird? I know we're kind of going on, but I don't really care. I'm gonna get more chatty with these. I think. The review of Tremors is probably over if you don't care. Of Tremors. Cold Day in Hell. Ugh.
Yeah, that's why they're like, oh, Cold Day in Hell?
I gotta see how that is.
I better see this podcast. Michael Gross is 70 years old.
70. Okay. He doesn't look bad for 70, actually, though.
No, he's always looked 70, so...
Yeah, so he's aged well, because he's aged nothing in the last 28 years.
It's like he hasn't aged for, like, 40 years.
Yeah. Like that friend of yours who runs that shop, huh?
If you always look old, you'll never start looking older.
It's true, yeah.
Play the long game on us, huh?
Play the long game. It's like those prematurely gray guys.
Yeah, like Steve Martin. I was amazed when I figured out Steve Martin wasn't a million years old. Well, he is now, but...
He is now. He's starting to kind of look like it, too. But for, like, my entire life, he looked the same age. Up until... more recently. So like 30-ish years.
He's 72.
He's 72? Wow. See, he doesn't look too bad for 72 either. I think Michael Gross looks a little more fit, but it's probably just the roles that they take and the stuff that they do. But regardless, like for the last 40 years,
the Jerk came out in 1979. He already
79.
He already looked a million.
79, 89, 99, 2009. So like yeah, almost 40 years. So yeah, because he looks pretty much the same age in the Jerk.
He's old as shit.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But anyway, this is unrelated, but I really wish that we could review video games, but it's not even a horror video game. I really want to play Detroit really bad. I want to play it really bad.
I really want to make fun of Detroit really bad.
Is it just because your super best friends don't like it that you
started
disliking David Cage? Because you liked Heavy Rain.
Yeah, until I realized that's the only thing he does.
Is the same thing over and over? Okay. I don't know.
I think the idea is very good, and there's a lot of good games that do that same thing better.
Okay.
And then he continues to do the same thing over and over. Even watching Detroit, it's very like I'm watching a Let's Play of it. Even watching it, it's so similar to Heavy Rain and the way that's structured, right, and the way that game goes.
Well, I mean, a lot of people who make the same thing make it. I mean, a lot of people who make series or make video games make very similar things over the years. Is it too close?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. Not that it's his style, which is fine. And I actually like his style. Mm-hmm. I think that's his style is what gets him very far.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy a lot of the visuals.
Uh-huh.
But
very pretty.
But it's... Yeah, just too similar. Like, it's not... He's not just using his style for it.
Yeah.
He's using the blueprints.
Is it one of those Will Smith as situations?
Yeah. It's like he's just being Will Smith in the movie.
What is the subtitle of that one? It's Detroit something almost human.
Detroit Beyond Two Fates.
No, that's
Detroit. The Fate of Beyond. Two Beyond. Souls of Fate. Souls of... Wait. Beyond Two Souls, Detroit. Detroit, the soul of Beyond.
Detroit Become Human.
Oh.
It's a sci-fi video game by the same person who made Heavy Rain, if you hadn't kind of picked up on that already. His name is David Cage. And it's about androids, and it's clearly about the... It's clearly very Blade Runner-y.
Oh, you're really trying to push my buttons on this one.
No. I'm saying in like a moral dilemma, what is the difference between a human and a non-human, if sentience may be at play, sort of thing, which is always something I've found interesting.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
What's the
Blade
difference?
Runner had subtlety.
Oh yes,
in that.
I'm saying
stylistically.
Detroit
Beyond it, and stylistically, I disagree. Also,
I'm talking about the style of the story, the context of the story.
I thought you meant the style of the game.
Oh, not at all. No, they visually very different, and the presentation is totally different. Apologies. That's I misused style there. Go ahead. Samuel's just burying his face in his hands at this point.
I was fine with talking about it, and then he compared it to Blade Runner. And I'm just don't even know who you are anymore. Do androids
dream of electric sheep?
It's not anything like that, but neither is Blade Runner.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying, like the
dilemma.
Yes, the dilemma.
The question, the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
what
like
is
that.
A human?
Except it's very like ham-fisted, shoved in your face.
Yeah.
This is that.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And that's actually another big...
Ex Machina.
I didn't see that. That's... Oh, now you gave away what that movie's about.
No, it's not. It's not actually about that. It's the same vein of what we're talking about.
But, it's just too obvious.
Uh-huh.
So I'm, like...
It's not subtle.
So it's, like, funny.
Yeah.
It's so obvious it's funny, almost.
Uh-huh.
That's all. I don't know. What were you talking about?
Yeah. Just that I kind of went... I don't even have the time to play that at this point. I guess now that a bunch of my friends are currently out on tour, a lot of the people that I've been hanging out with more recently, anyway, are out on tour doing stuff that I would have time to maybe play stuff, but not a whole video game. And also,
that's
it's
pretty
not
cool.
even
You're
horror.
pretending
What
on the podcast like you have friends that you hang out with and do stuff.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I've been going out several times a day every
Yeah, but
weekend.
not to hang out with friends to do stuff.
I have
maybe
been doing stuff and hanging out with friends. I have been doing both. Mind you, they're your friends, but I've still been hanging out with them.
But not always.
We had brunch.
Yeah, we had brunch, but you hung out with people I don't know too.
That's true. I have been. That's also been hanging out with people that you don't know.
No, I just kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hate you so much.
Is that right? Is that right?
You probably didn't see that going that way. That's pretty good.
That's how you always go.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
How could I not go? How could I not? So apparently we just talked until my recorder ran out of space. So we
just talked,
just gabbing about our friends. That's really the only thing that we missed was me talking about how I'm systematically stealing your friends from you.
Yeah, it's fine. You can have them.
Yeah.
All right.
See, that's the thing is that like you don't think that they're your friends, but they are your friends, and you're one of them, senpai, for some reason. So. That's a responsibility, Samuel. You can't just throw them away.
I'll never notice them.
Don't make me sad. Don't make
Can
me
we be
sad for
done
your
now?
friend. No, we're on a senpai issue. Senpai.
Goodbye, everybody.
You have to notice him.
You can find me on YouTube and BandTube and CampTube and HearPod and Scene Saws and Wooljo and Spinger and Retrong.
Retrong.
Yeah, Craggle.
Craggle.
Craggle.com.
Craggle.com.
Google it.
The Lego movie stole Craggle from Sam.com.
I'm Sam. Signing off. Thanks for watching.
You were supposed to try to do the intro. I knew you'd never be able to do the outro.
I just did the outro.
No. Do the real outro then. I would love to.
I would love to. What?
I would love to see you do the outro.
I did it. You can see me at those places.
You're supposed to tell them where they can find the podcast.
You can podcast us at podcast.podcast. Our podcasts are up there. You have a good podcast, everybody.
All right. I guess I'll do it since Sam can't.
Won't.
Cannot.
If I wrote it down, maybe.
Yeah, if you wrote it down, I know you'd be fine at it. So thank you everyone for listening to Sam's leg pop in the middle of my sentence.
Most people record this part, just so you know.
Yeah, I know they do. Most people do record this part.
Most people are professionals.
I actually feel like it's kind of lazy.
I'm hella lazy.
They miss all these moments where their friend's foot pops.
Torturing me.
Yeah.
They miss all this torture where I just try to fucking stare off into nothing. So I can finally be done.
And then my 50-point plan of how I'm gonna steal all your friends.
Cracking me down.
Oppressing you. So, thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, whatever it is, on whatever site that you found us. If you would like to help out the show, the best way that you can do so is to share it with someone that you love or someone that you think would be interested in, I don't know, hearing about a person with social anxiety and another person who just hates everybody. I don't know, antisocial?
Antisocial anxiety.
Antisocial anxiety, I think is what Sam has. Talk about friends that
they don't have.
That who even knows whether whether they would actually call us friends.
Who even knows? You know what? Who even knows?
I know one of them.
Who Even Knows podcast. Who even knows? Do we watch a movie?
Who even knows? Did we watch a movie?
Is any of this real?
I seem to recall we watched a movie.
We were talking to an empty recorder for hours until we realized we were just talking to nobody. We were just having a conversation with each other, which I hate doing. I was like, no.
For the benefit of people who aren't even there anymore.
I need my life back.
No, it was like, I think it was only a couple of minutes that we lost there. But, it's fine.
Feels like longer.
But yeah, if you want to hear about people pretend that they're going to do a horror movie podcast and instead talk about, like...
anything else?
Anything else I could possibly talk about. And, you know... And surmise whether, like, start pondering about whether their friends would call them friends or not. I know one of them called me his friend, but I think it was just for the ease of convenience. Because he was introducing me to someone. So, he said I was our friend. So, I don't know. Does that count?
No.
Thank you for listening to the Social Anxiety Podcast. Anyway, if you did want to help out the show, the best way that you can help is by sharing it with someone that you love or someone that you think would enjoy the podcast or wanted to hear about Tremors, not Tremors 6, then yeah. If you would like to share it and you do not, have the same platform as the person you're trying to share it with, we are available on YouTube, Player FM, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, and pretty much any podcatcher out there. I think I said one of those twice, and I don't really care, because all I can think about is whether my friends think that they're my friends. So, that's gonna happen. And if you would like to reach out to us on social media, you can do so on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, although my Instagram still doesn't have any new posters up. I fail at everything. I've been really busy. And also, I'm bad at excuses, so I just keep saying that I'm busy with no real details about that. And you can also email me at reclusehorror@gmail.com, which actually I have gotten a couple of emails now from people. I know I talked to you about one of them, Sam. That more to come on that possibly another time. So, yeah. Did you have any? What was your rating?
You're still recording?
I want to know what your rating is.
I was gonna do ABC.
No,
and I give this like a Z-. Z-. Pretty good, right? Z- for Tremors.
Yeah.
Snow as hell.
Snow as hell. Yeah. Snow as hell.
No snow scene in the whole movie.
I give it 500 words for snow
500.
that isn't there. 500 words for not snow is what I give it. Yeah.
I wish we could think of like a colloquialism that describes the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm not fantastic at it like this movie.
Like this movie is. I seriously, like, a random word generator would probably get it, like, closer to what a real metaphor, simile, or, like, one-liner is in a lot of the cases in this movie.
I give it like 4 cowhides out of a bushy wombat. Is that really good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's like, it seems like a good rating.
That does.
-5 of whatever I said.
-5.
Of the gibberish I said.
Did you say bushy wombats?
Yeah, bushy wombats. I gave it a -5 bushy wombats. Final answer.
Okay. I'm still gonna give it 500 words for no snow, but I'm also gonna give it, I don't know, 17 leathery carapaces. Which is just a phrase I did actually enjoy from the fake science babble. I just like that word, carapace. I don't remember how they pronounced it. I think they pronounced it carapace, but I like it. Sam says thumbs up. So, you gotta come over here. Because you didn't even tell all of our friends that listen to this show goodbye.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay.
Goodbye!
Goodbye, everybody. Be my friend.